Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Dominic, aka Dom the Cyber Genius, and I'm back here with another video. Let's get it started. Today, I'm gonna be doing Advent Day 4. I know I'm super late when it comes to this, but I've already done all the days up to this point, or up to day 22, I believe it is now. But I just wanted to go back and do day 4 with you guys and show it, because this is a very intricate part of being a penetration tester or ethical hacker. You need to know how to scan a network and scan different applications to see what's running on them, different versions, services, as well as any vulnerabilities that may be on them. And I just wanted to show you guys through that and through the day 4 of Advent of Cyber 2022. Now we get ahead. I already had started the machine, so we'll get into the machine in a moment. But I just want to give, I guess, a quick clarification. Sorry about that. Just a quick clarification. This is just talking about the QA server that the Santa shop is getting hacked, or that's the one that did get hacked. So this is kind of just going through that. So we want to read that. It'll make more sense if you did day 3 and you you did the OSINT task. So in this one, we're just gonna be running about scan different types of scans, different techniques, and then the different tools that are used to actually scan networks, as well as ports. So just to give you guys a quick clarification on what scanning is, I would just say scanning is a set of procedures or a set of things that allow you to identify or see if a device or host or network is like actually running or up. It also allows you to see if ports and services and versions that are running on those ports, to see if those are up, right? As well as discovering different operating systems and figuring out what operating system is the target system you're actually looking at. So just scrolling down, how it's saying here, it does give a lot of resources to you, and it reveals a lot about the attack surface for attackers, and it kind of allows us to launch targeted attacks on an exploit system. Because if we figured out maybe this system has version A and that one's vulnerable to remote code execution, we then found that out by doing various scans, and then now we can go use something like a Metasploit to go exploit that. So that's kind of what it's going over. These are the different scanning types. So passive, active. I would say passive, if you think of it as like anything passive, you're not doing something like, I don't want to say on something, but like it's not involving, you're not directly scanning the network, right? So you're kind of indirectly scanning the network. So you would use something maybe like a Wireshark, right? But that one's only going to give certain information, like an operating system version or a network protocol. While as active scanning is, you're actually scanning actively or directly on the network. So you can use things like NMAP, Nikto to just discover different endpoints on a IT network, or maybe endpoints on a different application that you're actually scanning. And the active one is going to give you more and more. It's going to give you more and more detailed information. So now we scroll down. These are just going over like the techniques, because we already went over the scanning types. So these are the different scanning techniques you can do. So there's network scanning and there's port scanning. So network scanning is going to be the entire network, which includes applications, ports, and other targets, or like hosts and computers. And you're scanning the network to get any information or resources about that specific network. So it can give you, when you're scanning the network, since it's a lot more, this can give you kind of a clearer picture or a map of what the network kind of looks like, which also includes maybe computers that are up, hosts that are up, ports that may be open, IP addresses that pertain to certain maybe websites or network protocols that you may need, or that you may want to be running against those. And that's kind of really when it comes to for like a network scan. As far as a port scanning is kind of, scanning the individual ports, because I know that every application or every application or website or protocol is going to have a port, and those ports are what's allowing that application to run. So if you think of something like a website and something that we're on right now, Tryhackme, it's using HTTPS. and that's, I believe, port 445. So it's using that port and it's hosting that application on it. So that's why we're able to actually be on it. So that's kind of what port scanning is. It's kind of scanning the individual port instead of just scanning the actual network. Kind of goes through here. This is the amount that, I guess, there's how many ports are in, I don't want to say the wild, but they're running on the service, I guess. Only, I think, like 1,000 or so are really known. And then these are the 3 types of things you would see with the port. So closed, that means the port isn't open and it's not listening to anything. Open ports mean that port is open and something's actively running on it. And filtered, it may be open, but this may be blocked by a firewall or it's not accepting certain connections, right? And then the next one, this was going to be vulnerability scanning. So this is going to be us kind of scanning a network to figure out any vulnerability. So this is more of a blue team thing, right? When it comes to vulnerability scanning, you can do both for red team, right? When you're looking for exploits, but what is it when you're doing vulnerability scanning? This is more of a blue team thing, so you can use Nessus or Tenable or something like that. That's going to actually scan someone's network to find any vulnerabilities, and then those vulnerabilities are gonna kind of be stored in this database, I would say, or table format, and then it's going to range the vulnerabilities from least vulnerable to most vulnerable, right? And then it would be that blue team's job to work with the security team to start patching and putting the necessary steps and protocols in to start patching those vulnerabilities that are on their network. Next, now we're going to go into the scanning tools. So these are going to be the automated tools that are going to allow us to actually scan a network, right? So how you saw earlier, there's thousands of ports. We can't just go scan port 1, port 2, port 3. This is going to take forever. Time is money. So we need to use different scanning tools that are going to help us do that. And with that, one of the most popular ones is called Network Mapper, or AKA NMAP. So this map is pretty oh my God, I'm messing up, y'all. NMAP is a pretty popular tool, and it's going to be used to carry out different types of scanning. So port scanning, you'll be able to discover network protocols, find out any services that are running on a certain port or IP address, right? And detect any operating systems that are on live hosts that are up and running. I would highly encourage you guys to go through these rooms, NMAP, and a bunch of these. It really goes over the different operators and how to really set things up when you're scanning. So now, if you go ahead and start the machine, I'd already started it. So let it connect. Oops. Now zoom in on here a little bit. My bad, y'all. Boom. All right, so now we scroll down. Kind of went through port scanning, vulnerability scanning, NMAP. So this is kind of the thing what we're going to start doing. So now it looks like it's having us do a TCP SYN scan. So what TCP is I think it's transmission control protocol. Let me double check that. There we go. I knew it. Transmission, just double checking. Zoom out my way. All right. Perfect. So what TCP is kind of a network protocol that's going to allow our device or host to connect to a server, right, or another network. So in this instance, TCP is going to be relying on a full connection. So how they're describing it is a 3-way handshake, right? And since just a SYN scan is just going to be more stealthier, because as attackers and penetration testers, we want to be silent. And the more you scan, or there's certain ways you have to scan, so then you can go under the radar without being caught by different security, I guess, tools that are being used on the security team, right? But anyway, just getting back to TCP 3-way handshake, this is going to be the SYN ACT handshake. So I want to kind of put it into real life terms. So say if I'm walking across the street and I see somebody and I say, hey, right, I'm sending a synchronized packet to them. I'm saying, hey, I want to connect to you, or I want to talk to you. In terms of computer terms, you're basically taking your device or host and saying, hey, I want to connect to this port, or I want to connect to this protocol, right? So then whatever is being hosted on that protocol, right? So say we're trying to connect to HTTPS, right? So we're trying to send a request, hey, we're trying to connect to Google. Then Google or the port it's hosted on, HTTPS 445, is going to see our request and then acknowledge it, right? So that's like somebody saying, I'm saying hi to someone or waving, and then they acknowledge it and say hi back, right? So then once it's acknowledged, then that port or person will then see if it's open, see if they're open, and see if the port is actually available or if they're available. And if that's so, they'll then allow you to connect. And then that's where the last part comes in. And I believe that's, what is that? That's after the send act part. So then they obviously allowed you to connect, and then you're able to connect, and then in real terms you'll be talking to that person. And then as far as computer terms, then I believe it's the port that you're trying to connect to will then send an RST packet basically saying that we acknowledge your connection, the connection's stable, and kind of putting a stop to you repeatedly requesting something. So that's kind of what the TCP scan really is. Give me one second. Sorry about that, y'all. So what I was saying was that's just the TCP scan, send act. You're sending a synchronized packet to connect to something. That network or protocol is then going to acknowledge your packet or acknowledge your request. And then if that port is available and open, then it's going to allow you to connect. And then that's what's going to allow you to connect to that device to start working on it. So that's kind of what they're talking about, the TCP send scan. So we can even run that right here. So then if we get look at our IP, and then put it in here. It's another trick if you're working on Tryhackme. So you can get your stuff. So then we can do NMAP. That's just the operator, and then you would do your thing. And then now see it already scanned that. So then it's saying these are the hosts that are up. These are the ports. I recommend you studying the networks, or I guess doing some network courses, because these are going to kind of tell you what ports these are. This right away, SSH, that's just being able to remote into something. 445, NetBIOS, HTTP. So it's kind of giving you a pretty good access of what's on that network. Now we scroll down. Then this is just a different scan. So this is kind of scanning all the live hosts on the network without having to one by one scan 22, 80, 139, 445, TC, like that. So it's kind of a quicker thing, right? So we can do that. But sometimes by doing that, you can kind of be loud, and some security tools can pick up on that. Boom. You can do operating system scans. You can do detecting services scans. So the NMAP is very specific, and you can be very specific with NMAP, kind of what you want to do, as well as you can put things together to where you don't have to do SS and then do SV or then do -O. So what I like to do, or what my common one is, I'll do a new file tab here. My common one is I like doing NMAP-SC, NMAP-SV. This way I'm getting all like the content that I want, and then I'm getting the services that are going to be detected on it. Sometimes, depending on what you're scanning, you'll have to maybe put different things here. You can always do NMAP-A, and then you can even put a -T for threads, and basically making it to where you want it to go faster to move more threads. But by putting it to 5, which is the max, a lot of tools can pick up on that, and then you may get caught. I'm just using it for the sake of this box because I want all the information. I want them to give it to me quick. So we're just gonna wait on that. Yeah, boy. Look at that. We basically, what that did was it brought us back the different services that are going to be running on it, as well as the version of it. So we see that's the service. This is the version. If you see here 80, which is TCP, it's going to be HTTP, and then it's going to be 445, 139. So these are having, or HTTP, you see that the service or the version is Apache, right? And then you scroll down, these are kind of showing the operating system. So it was a Windows 6. It did use the Samba protocol, and these are kind of the computer names, different domain names that are going to allow you to get more information about the network. Then if you scroll down, this is Nikto. We could use Nikto. This one kind of allows you to scan websites for vulnerabilities. It looks for subdomains, so maybe a domain within an actual domain, right, or within a domain within a website that you may not be able to access, or you may be able to access, right? So I know there's different portals and stuff within the main domain, and those portals that are off limits or that do contain sensitive data, those need to be off limits, right? But sometimes developers can get lazy, and those can be open to the public, and we just have to kind of sniff them out, right? So that's kind of what using Nikto is for. I can try that one out. Let's see, Nikto host. You can also use Nikto to brute force URLs too. I think that's what it's doing, but I think it's just brute forcing the boom. Right, so target IP, we got the host name. It's on under port 80. It's using Apache as the server, and that's kind of what we got. So you can use both. So these are really cool tools, and you see how fast it is. So that's why you use it to save time. Now, basically that target IP, I believe it may be, that's what the QA.Santa.gift shop is kind of going over. How running these tools against the server can find a bunch of open ports and vulnerabilities. How we noticed that there was a Samba service that was running on it. So when it comes to Samba, that's SMB. So that's going to be server message block. So that's a protocol that's just going to allow you to, it's a communication protocol, so it's kind of allowing you to share and give access to different files. It can be through serial ports as well as printers and other things. So that's kind of what they're doing with SMB. So with us, by doing that, we were able to find that it was running Samba with we scroll up, see right here, Samba OS operating system, it is running Samba. So we were able to find out that it is running Samba, or it is being it is running Samba. So kind of what's happening is that Samba isn't really protected, and we're going to kind of get access to Samba and get access to those shared folders or files, right, that really aren't protected over the network. And this is where kind of the Bandit Yeti came into place and did that, and he was able to do that with different OSINT techniques. And you remember from day 3, we did OSINT and found, and I believe it was GitHub, the database password and servers, right? So it was like Ubuntu Santa 2022. So now we're gonna connect to the Samba server using these credentials. So if you want to go here, click on application, internet, and then I believe it is, oh, my bad, sorry. No, it's where's it at? Why is it showing that? Hold on. Oh my god, I forgot how to get to the... Oh, here we go, I'm tripping. Oh my god, where's it at? I'm trying to find the, Dang, how come I can't find it? Oh my god. Hold on. Let me see. I'm trying to get to like the file system. Hold on. Oh, there we go. I'm tripping. It was under here the whole time. I'm like, where is it at? So now if we go into here, and I believe we're under the right one. So now if we go in here, this is kind of this is where it's gonna show the path of a file or where you're at, the current directory. So we're in root there, desktop we're here. So we'll just stay in root. I believe it's in here, and then we'll just copy this over. So now see how we were able to just loosely get in there? Now we have access to this. And look at that, admin. So with anything, if I see something with admin, I'm gonna go right away because I know that's gonna have the most amount of privileges that allow me to go to work or go to town, as y'all may say. So we'll click on admins. Now, what is it? We'll put ourselves as a registered user, and with these credentials, we'll use Ubuntu as the username. You can leave the domain name the same. You don't have to worry about that. And then for the password, it's gonna be the one on the screen. Now we're gonna connect. Boom, now we're in the Samba service. And this, in real life, if we were able to get to this far, we're basically getting in this protocol that's gonna have sensitive files, and this protocol is kind of allowing us to share those files across with other people or other devices. So as an ethical hacker or a real hacker, it would then extract that data and then use maybe a command and control server to extract the data out. So now if we scroll down, what is the name of the HTTP server running on the remote host? So you remember, if we go back, this is the server that's actually running because we were able to scan with NMAP that it was port 80. And if you know that HTTP is going to be port 80 usually, so that one has Apache. So then you would put Apache. Then what is the name of the service running on port 2022 on the QA server? So if you see right here, it's SSH. So then you go ahead and put SSH. And then what can you find after successfully accessing the Samba service? So if we go back, right? Let's see, can we go back? Oh my God, why did I not? Here we go, tripping. So here it is, flag.txt. Boom, that one has THM Santa server or Santa SMB server. So it's THM underscore, or it's open bracket THM underscore Santa underscore SMB underscore server, close bracket. Boom, so then you go ahead, put that in there, copy it, and then we're basically done after that because that was the last flag. Oops, I accidentally showed that one on accident being stupid. So now the next one is what can you find? That's the Samba service. So then we'll say, what is the password for the username Santa HR? Then if we go back, I believe, go in the user list, then we see Santa HR. This is Santa 2025. Obviously, this is a poor job of maintaining the Samba service. Nothing's encrypted, nothing's been hashed. So if I see this, or the attacker sees this, definitely copy all of it down, put it in some notes, and then, use that for later to start logging into things, right? So then at this point, we're basically done with the box. So now here, Santa 25, you'll just copy that in. And then after that, we're basically done. And that's really it for the video. I just wanted to come on here real quick and show you guys what NMAP scanning really is, how to use it, Nikto, the different ways people can scan, the different types of scanning, right? Because if you're going to be a penetration tester as well as an ethical hacker, right? Even in blue team, just understanding what the mindset of an attacker, you want to know how to actually scan networks within a considerable time frame and not waste any time, right? And scan it efficiently and properly. So doing that with NMAP, with Nikto, and then using the different operators to get specific data that you want, that's going to kind of allow you to get a feel for what type of database or network you're attacking is. So besides that, that's it for today. I hope everybody's having a blessed day and a blessed holiday season, and I can't wait to see you guys again. And let me know what you guys want to see, and I'm out. Peace.